Right, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about fast fashion and why I think it's a really bad thing. Now, obviously everyone knows it's a really bad thing, but recently it's been really annoying me. So I just needed to rant at something, so I'm ranting at a camera and posting it on my YouTube channel. I just would like to say before we start, thank you everyone for the support on my YouTube channel. I really do appreciate it. It does mean a lot to me, and yeah, it's just, I do this for fun, literally. I just like talking about clothes. Like, it's pretty much what I do all the time. I design clothes and stuff like that for fun. I like talking about clothes, like looking at magazines and stuff like that, going charity shopping. So honestly, it does mean the world to me that people actually like the videos in some way or just support it in any way by either liking it or subscribing to the channel. It genuinely does mean a lot to me, and I'm still kind of learning what I'm meant to be doing, and the locations are changing all the time. Sadly, there's not much I can do about that right now, but hopefully soon I'll be back up to my usual setup where I've got all my lighting and stuff like that. So hopefully it's not too bad right now, but I am trying my best. So to start off with, the first thing about fast fashion that I genuinely hate, this is just going to be so ranty, you know, I'm just going to go off, is I see it in charity shops all the time. It's just like the amount of, like, there's no care for that sort of clothing. It's poorly made usually. It never, like, feels good ever. Like, it's always really bad quality. It's cheap. That is the only good thing about it. It's comparatively cheap to everything around it. The only reason why I could see why you'd buy something fast fashion wise is if you're just using it a few times. Like, it's not gonna last realistically, right? I've never bought anything from these brands, even Primark to a certain extent as well. Just every fast fashion brand like that just basically just reels off hundreds and hundreds of products over and over again, which firstly is really bad for the environment. Like, everyone knows it's bad for the environment, but it's like buying something to wear to one event. It's like why I hate festival outwear. Like, why do you need something specifically that you're just going to wear once for a festival? Like, genuinely, I don't understand it. Wear something that you wear more than once. Like, I've genuinely seen people buy something for a festival and then throw it away. Like, why? Why would you do that? Because the only reason why these companies are producing so much stuff at the rate they are is to keep up with changing fashion trends, which they do constantly, by the way, and they just go round and round in a loop. So is it worth it? And then they're also just doing it for profit. Like, keeping up with fashion trends is to sell more items, hence get more money, more profit for them. They're genuinely just trying to make money off of what fashion trends are, which is what clothing does, right? But I just think the way in which companies do it nowadays is just like following trends. Even Uniqlo to a certain extent, which just keeps producing and producing quality stuff. Like, it's just, at least with those sort of brands, Uniqlo is really good quality. In my opinion, a lot of other brands, which I've seen in charity shops, are not great quality and they just ride fashion trends. Like, in my opinion, it's just bad for the environment. Like, that's something that I think about a lot when I charity shop. Like, one of the main reasons why I charity shop is to help the environment by not buying new things. Like, I'm reusing other people's stuff and, like, upcycling it and wearing it in my own way with different outfits to try and make it not go to waste. Like, the whole point of me doing it is so I'm not buying new things which is harming the environment. Like, the environment is, like, no matter what anyone tells you, like, climate change is real. And the amount of, like, cotton, for example, produced to make clothing is ridiculous and harmful to the environment. I'm not going to go into the science of it. It's obviously really complicated and I'm not an expert on it whatsoever. But I am very conscious about how much, like, just damage these companies do, even major companies. So, for example, the environment is just being hurt by everything that major companies do. And companies can try and tell you that they are trying to help the environment. Like, for example, Adidas doing their shoe that was made out of ocean waste. Other companies like Levi's saying that their jeans have used, like, recycled components and stuff like that. And them just trying to offer incentives to bring clothing in and fix it. But the world we live in now it's just product obsolescence. It's literally just like, this product is made to last for a certain amount of time, so you have to come buy it back and buy more. And that is true in the fashion world. Like, there's not much stuff genuinely made to last most of the time. And if it is, it's quite expensive. You have to look really hard to find stuff like that, and that's why charity shopping is a great option for people. And why this channel exists for me is to raise awareness of how you can be more sustainable in something like clothing, which is ever changing and ever adaptable. Like, you can always change your style to fit different clothing that you find, and like I said, I find it fun, and it's helping me do something to reuse products which aren't being used. It's like they're not being loved by anyone, and that's why we say about pre-loved things when I talk about fashion, because I like using stuff that has been loved before and now just has no home and is just sitting on a shelf somewhere. And I think when we produce something as like a human race, it's really important to not just leave it. Like, we've got so many landfills of just rubbish, of like clothing, of technology, of everything in this world. And I don't think that's right, personally. I think it's really bad what we're doing to the environment, just by even just clothing standards. Just, it's so much clothing is just being produced, and it's all for profit and it's all for money. And the corporations will tell you they're thinking about the environment. They aren't. Like, I've not seen a major company genuinely care about the environment. Otherwise, they wouldn't be producing the items where they are being produced, using the materials that they are used to produce it, and trying to produce as much as possible to fill a demand, which obviously that is what a free market is. It's supply and demand. So if people want it, they're going to produce it. But I feel like the way in which like companies go about it these days, especially now as well, where they're trying to hide the environmental impact which their companies have, is really damaging to people. Because even when you're buying something new, just because it's saying it's used recycled materials, the energy required to recycle that material and make it into something new is still affecting the environment in a certain way, right? And it's something which I've been really conscious about looking into. Like, I don't do enough for the environment. I know I don't. But in one way I try and help the environment is not buying loads of new clothes over and over again from brands which make really cheap, poorly made clothing, which is going to firstly feel really bad because it's bad quality, and not stay at a high standard for a long period of time and just be rubbish like a month or two. Like, it's not a good thing in my opinion to do, and everyone has their own choice and everyone can do what they want. I just think it's not on the people, it's on the corporations to do the right thing and try and help the environment, and not produce fast fashion, which when trends die, that piece of clothing dies and no one wants it anymore, which means it just gets left. And it was no point in it ever being made, because it's just fashion trends, and no one seems to have their own style anymore. It's like, well, what's in trend now? Oh, it's, for example, flared trousers. They were in fashion for a while, and then everyone gets bored of them, and then now it's like, I don't know, baggy jeans, for example. And like, no one seems to have their own style. It just seems to be like, oh, let's keep up with these fashion trends, and it's not really creative, innovative, or most of the time even looks good, because everyone looks the same. And to me, that's not what fashion's about. Fashion is about doing your best to be different and like expressing who you are. Like, that is what fashion is to me. Like, I sit in a chair talking about clothing all day, not because it's not to me what it is to other people. To me, it's expression of myself, and to other people, it's about trying to impress other people and try and be what other people want you to be. And I think that's the wrong way to think about clothing, and I think that's the way fast fashion thinks about clothing, with fashion trends and stuff like that. It's about, okay, this is in fashion, let me wear this to impress everyone because it's what everyone wants to see right now. And I think that's wrong. But this was pretty much just a rant video. Yeah, it's just fast fashion just really gets on my nerves, so I just wanted to make a rant video. If you have enjoyed this video, which I don't know why you would, because I've just been ranting at a camera for 10 minutes or however long it's been, I'm not even sure, but please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It would genuinely mean the world to me, and thank you so much.